The stranger who picked up my landline had never once stepped inside my home. "Who's this?" he muttered, his tone hushed, uneasy, bewildered. I went rigid. "This is my home," I replied. He ended the call before I could say another word. I gazed at the phone on my desk as if it had struck me across the face. "Hello, I'm Ethan Carter, 38, supply chain supervisor, wed for 6 years." And at 3 p.m. on an ordinary Tuesday, a stranger's voice answered my home phone. Not my wife. Not my child. A grown man. I dialed back 8 times. No response. No message. Silence. I snatched my keys on instinct. Told no one at work. Didn't sign out. I simply left the office and sped away as though pursuing a shadow. 16 minutes later, I rolled into my driveway. The sun was still bright. Been still curbside. Everything appeared fine, yet I sensed trouble. The front door remained locked. Security system active. Ordinary. Suspiciously ordinary. I entered. That's when I caught it. Footsteps overhead. Solid. Heavy. Not hers. I moved up the stairs, pulse pounding like artillery. The bedroom door stood ajar. Inside, one window had been wedged open, drapes swaying gently. Her closet door gaped wide. Yet the house felt vacant. I dialed her mobile, direct to voicemail. I breathed her name softly. Nothing. Then my eyes dropped, and there it was on the carpet. One lone sock. A man's sock. Gray. Faded. Not belonging to me. In that instant I understood. This went beyond a single misplaced call. It marked the beginning of something ongoing for quite a while. The sock lay crumpled beside her vanity. Gray. Threadbare. Far too big for my foot. I froze in place, straining to hear. No talking. No shifting. Only the roar of blood in my ears. I am Ethan Carter once more. And right then, fury didn't grip me. Fear didn't overwhelm me. I simply observed. The place looked immaculate, the way it always did. But all at once I saw the things she'd overlooked. An additional toothbrush by the sink. 2 mugs resting in the basin. An unfamiliar charger connected near our bed. iPhone style, though she preferred Android. I checked the wardrobe. Her section remained neatly arranged by hue. Except the uppermost shelf on the right stood bare. I'd never registered its emptiness until now. Now it stared back at me. I returned downstairs, phone clutched tight, and reviewed the call log. 3:02 p.m. Answered. 3:03 p.m. Hung up. I knew the security pin. The entrance showed no sign of break-in. Whoever he was, she had granted him entry. Yet his startled, unsteady greeting revealed one clear fact. He hadn't expected my call at that moment. I checked the spare bedroom closet. A neatly folded throw, 2 cushions, a travel bag. Beneath the bed, another pair of men's loafers. Well used. Recognizable. My stomach sank. I knew that make. Not from her. From a person close to me. Someone who'd supposedly never visited our place. Yet clearly he had, repeatedly. Size 12. Dark leather, toes scratched. I'd spotted them at my brother's flat. He used to tease how cozy they felt. More comfortable than house shoes, he'd laugh. Now they sat hidden under my guest bed. Hello again, Ethan Carter. And there I stood, confronting evidence I hadn't sought. Not buried in her messages. Not tucked in our room. But right there, concealed yet obvious. I tugged the travel bag free. Within it, a couple of button-downs, toothpaste, antiperspirant, and chewing gum. Spearmint flavor. The exact brand he always carried in his glove box. I held back from shouting. No tears came. I sealed the zipper and carried it outside like ordinary garbage. I dropped it into my car's trunk. Then I drove off. Not toward her workplace. Not to his condo. Toward the family home where we'd both been raised. The place we used to sprint to the porch for weekend breakfasts. He wasn't present. But our father was. Hey kid, he greeted warmly. You're ahead of schedule. I interrupted. Was Lucas here earlier? He paused. Just a beat too long. Why do you ask? Because I believe he's been inside my home. With my wife. His expression crumbled. Ethan, don't rush to assumptions. I'm not assuming, I answered. I discovered his shoes beneath the spare bed. His charger by our bedside table. His sock next to her dresser. Quiet stretched. Then, you ought to speak with your wife first. No, I replied. I need to speak with him. Before anyone else gets pulled in. Because I already knew his whereabouts that evening. And I intended to arrive ahead of schedule. Using a spare key my wife never realized I still possessed. He occupied the same downtown spot. An apartment over a bistro where he claimed he stayed occasionally for business. That evening his vehicle sat parked outside. Windows lit. Blinds closed. I skipped the doorbell. I turned the key he'd handed me years back after misplacing his during a blizzard. The very key he likely thought I'd discarded. I slipped in without noise. The scent of her fragrance hung in the air. First thing visible, her shawl draped across one of his bar stools. Hello again, Ethan Carter. Rage didn't surge through me then. Instead came sharpness. That fine line dividing hurt from resolve. When you grasp that you aren't losing a partner, the loss happened long ago. Their voices reached me first. Laughter. Two distinct tones. One low and familiar. The other one I used to hear each morning. I advanced along the corridor, steady and deliberate. The bedroom entrance stood slightly ajar. I stayed outside. No need to cross the threshold. She perched on his mattress, knees tucked, chuckling at his remark. He stood bare-chested by the glass, casual as habit, as though the space belonged to them. And I noticed her expression. No alarm. No remorse. Ease. She fit here. Not beside me. I retreated silently. Closed the door behind me. Locked it. Back in the car, I sent a single word to my attorney. Begin. The strategy was already underway. Unbeknownst to them, I had recorded it all. Come morning, packages would arrive for both. Official. Time-stamped. A snapshot clipped to the front. Hers landed on her workspace at 8:02 a.m. Contents. A collection of sharp images, dates, perspectives, captures. Him at our entrance. Her inside his place. One frame of her palm against his shirt, still wearing my ring. Atop it all, a note. This isn't an argument. This is finality. Legal separation starts now. I've already relocated. No explanation required. I already comprehend. Hello again, Ethan Carter. A man who constructed existence on routine, discipline, and steadfast devotion. In exchange received concealment, manipulation, and disloyalty wrapped in gentle words. Lucas received his packet as well. Hand-delivered to his workplace, amid colleagues. His version held one added sentence. Share whatever tale comforts our parents. But reality has already declared itself. He rang 12 times. She rang 23. I ignored everyone. I sought no regrets. I sought quiet. Room to breathe. Separation from the self, who accepted partial honesty. By midday I'd settled into a short-term rental on the other side of the city. My essentials filled just 2 bags. She appeared at the door once. I turned her away wordlessly. Lucas left a recording. Man, this wasn't intentional. It simply occurred. I erased it midway. Because disloyalty isn't accidental. It's selected, deception by deception. That evening I established a separate account, locked shared assets, and rested in sheets free of deceit. The following morning I consulted someone skilled in handling such material. Lucas's employer enforced a strict ethics policy. The firm marketed itself as family-oriented. That image formed their identity, their appeal, their funding. Yet their guidelines showed no mercy. Hello again, Ethan Carter. When I entered their headquarters that day carrying a sealed packet and speaking softly, vengeance wasn't my aim. I presented documentation as a worried observer and a wounded sibling. The front desk staff wavered. Do you have a scheduled meeting? No, I replied. But after today, you'll need to examine this before your next promotional release. I placed it on the desk. Inside, chronology of the affair, signs of professional interference, improper use of resources, plus one saved message from his attempt to smooth things over. This wasn't planned. Their personnel office contacted me the next afternoon. Mr. Carter, thank you for your restraint. This matter is grave. I'm aware, I said. So was he. Within days, Lucas sat on administrative leave without pay, under investigation. His image vanished from corporate materials. Agreement paused. Equity suspended. No further calls came from him. But she tried again. This time I played her message. You ruined him. Alone in the dim apartment, phone screen lighting my face. No, they ruined themselves. I merely quit shielding it. Yet my task wasn't complete. One final visit remained. One person who still viewed this as someone else's issue. Our mother. She'd spent weeks protecting them both, claiming I exaggerated. Tomorrow I'd demonstrate what exaggeration truly isn't. She answered the door wearing her usual gentle expression meant to ease friction. Ethan, she murmured. You seem exhausted. I am, I answered. Though not for the causes you imagine. She let me in. The same childhood home. The same corridor where Lucas and I raced for extra dessert. The same kitchen where she embraced us equally. We never were equal. She brewed tea. I left mine untouched. I spoke with your brother, she began. He's shattered. I nodded. He will be. Darling, everyone errs. You can't shatter the entire family over a single slip. I set down a printed image. Her on his mattress. Then another. Him entering our home, turning a key she swore no one else possessed. Finally, a captured frame from the recording, timestamp etched clearly. I laid them out like evidence on the table. Visible. Unyielding. She remained motionless. Mom, I said calmly. I didn't shatter anything. I simply quit acting like the fractures weren't already there. She parted her lips, then sealed them. Her gaze fell, finally absorbing not merely the proof but the silent sorrow in my stare. I had no idea, she breathed. No, I replied. You chose not to. I rose, left the prints behind. At the threshold I halted. I hold no hatred toward them, I told her. I'm simply finished sacrificing for those who label it affection. That evening I rested deeper than in ages. Because the story no longer centered on them. It centered on me. And the next day I would pen its conclusion alone. I awoke to morning light. No messages. No pleas. No clamor. Only calm. The sort born not of pardoning, but of letting go. I, Ethan Carter. The person they once deceived moved forward. The one who never shouted, never pursued, never collapsed. I reconstructed in stillness. Sealed joint finances. Sold the property. Ended shared coverage. Canceled the trip we never took. Left recollections where they turned to dust. Lucas's professional life never rebounded. He attempted redirection. Cited emotional strain. Crafted excuses. Few accepted them. Reality carried documentation. His standing wasn't injured. It was proven. And her? She relocated to a relative's place far away. Sent one last note. You were the finest person I ever knew. I simply couldn't find honesty within myself toward you. I sent no response. Certain realities deserve only quiet. Time moved on. I resumed walking trails. Returned to my old acoustic. Dined solo and savored it. Laughter returned gradually, then fully one evening during a silly film I'd never confess enjoying before. Later, passing my former residence on a stroll. New drapes. New residence. I registered no sting. The history no longer claimed me. Only its teaching remained. Never mistake ease for true closeness. They cherished the self who avoided scrutiny. But the version I grew into? He notices it all. And he no longer waits for regard. He demands it. So if anyone asks what became of the man betrayed by his spouse and his own sibling inside his very walls, he departed. He mended. He began again.